And so the Imago Dei, the doctrine of the image of God, it says we can't murder our unborn child because ultimately the child is not the parents, and the child is not owned by the mother, and the child is not the government's. Firstly and primarily and ultimately, the child is God's, made in His image, for His purpose and His glory, and He delights in that baby. And that baby is wanted. It was His idea. It's what He's doing to develop that baby. And it's not our choice. 1.2 million abortions are performed per year. Almost 57 million abortions since Roe v. Wade made it legal to kill our unborn children. There are 15 infant adoptions in the United States for every 1,000 abortions. That's 67 abortions for every one adoption. 95% of people having abortions report that they have an abortion for either economic reasons or because they're not yet ready to have a child. Between 10 and 15% of people having abortions are in our churches. They are Christian evangelicals. That's the reality. And listen, this is not a scientific debate anymore. It used to be, right? It used to be a scientific debate. Is it life? Is it not life? That's not even part of the question now. When Roe v. Wade passed, you didn't have 3D imaging. You couldn't see your baby suck her thumb or smile. You couldn't do any of those things. And so there's this debate. Is it life? Is it not life? What's going on here? That's not even a debate anymore. Science has completely come to the side of, here's what's happening. This is life. And so we should never be afraid of science as Christians. We talked about this last week. God has to reveal Himself, and He reveals Himself in primarily two ways. One is called special revelation. That's the Bible. And the other is called general revelation. That's creation. And so we believe that God has displayed Himself and revealed Himself to us through the Bible and through creation, which means we shouldn't be afraid of science because science is going to figure out creation. Eventually, it'll catch up to what the Bible has already said. We should never be afraid of that. Here's where science is at on the abortion issue. Scientifically, the unborn child is complete, meaning from the moment of fertilization, the preborn child is complete. All the information that needs to be there is there. It just simply needs time to grow. First, pro-choicers that don't acknowledge that reality that the unborn child is complete actually sound quite scientifically foolish. They said this in one article I read. Conservatives, that's us I suppose, deeply care about itty-bitty babies that aren't materially different than the cells that you remove from your nose every time you scratch it. That's just scientifically dumb. It's not true. 2, scientifically, the unborn child is unique. The scientific evidence of DNA proves that the preborn child is unique and genetically distinct from his or her mother, meaning the baby is not a part of the mother like an appendix is or a toe is. The baby is genetically distinct from the mom. The baby is unique. 3rd, scientifically, the unborn baby is living. The laws of biology tell us that the preborn child is alive because it is growing, it's developing, it's undergoing metabolism, it is responding to stimuli. The baby is living. 4th, scientifically, the unborn baby is human. Yes, we have to say this scientifically. The scientific law of biogenesis states that living things reproduce after their own kind. So dogs beget dogs and cats beget cats, goldfish beget goldfish, and humans beget humans, not blobs of cells. Humans make babies. And that baby is a human being, of course. And no scientist or doctor is arguing these facts with any sort of legitimacy. Dr. Neville Sander, abortionist. We know that it's killing, but the state permits killing under certain circumstances. Dr. Benjamin Kalish, abortionist. Even now, I feel a little peculiar about it. Because as a physician, I was trained to conserve life, and here I am destroying it. This isn't about science anymore. This is madness and not fact. In most states, it is legal for a teenage girl to have an abortion without consent or knowledge from her parents, but it's illegal for her to get an aspirin from the school nurse without her mom's written note. It doesn't make any sense. The U.S., we just happen to be leading the way in all of this. We're one of only 10 nations that allow abortion after 14 weeks of gestation. There's only 4 countries that allow abortion for any reason after viability: Canada, North Korea, China, and the United States. In Texas, the law says that you cannot inflict or harm a child or any human being, including an unborn child, at all, which means this, that a woman could be driving to the abortion clinic to go have an abortion, get hit by a drunk driver. If the baby in utero dies, that drunk driver can be committed or convicted of manslaughter, but if she got to the abortion clinic, she could legally kill her child. It doesn't make any sense. This isn't a debate about science anymore. One abortionist said this: you have to become a bit schizophrenic. In one room, you encourage the patient that the slight irregularity in the fetal heart is not important, that she's going to have a fine, healthy baby. Then, in the next room, you assure another woman on whom you just did a saline abortion that it's a good thing that the heartbeat is already irregular. She has nothing to worry about. She will not have a living baby. One time, the mother noticed that at the time of the saline infusion, there was a lot of activity in the uterus. That's not fluid currents. That's obviously the fetus being distressed by swallowing the concentrated salt solution and kicking violently. And that's, to all intents and purposes, the death trauma. Somebody has to do it, and unfortunately, we are the executioners in this instance. This is not a question of life. This is not a debate about science. This is a philosophical debate. This is about personhood and rights. That's what this has come to. Is this baby made in the image of God or not?